Donald Trump knows he is weak. He knows he is unpopular, and he knows he is losing power. It is the reason why he is increasingly leaning on intimidation, threatening to arrest anyone who gets in the way of his illegal plans. And that is exactly what we saw today when Donald Trump, after just arresting a judge, arrested an elected Democrat and failed to arrest 3 Democratic members of Congress who were only protesting his illegal immigration plan. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me now. Before we saw the disgusting action that took place on behalf of the Trump administration today, we saw a very scary statement made from Stephen Miller about how they are going to be conducting their fascist government going forward.
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article III courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article III courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases. Many of you probably don't know this. I'll give you a good example. Are you familiar with the term temporary protected status, or TPS, right? So by statute, the courts are stripped of jurisdiction from overruling a presidential determination or a secretarial determination on TPS when the Secretary of Homeland Security makes that determination. So when Secretary Noem terminated TPS for the illegals that Biden flew into the country, when courts stepped in, they were violating explicit language that Congress had enacted, saying they have no jurisdiction. So it's not just, the courts aren't just at war with the executive branch, the courts are at war, these radical rogue judges, with the legislative branch as well too. So all of that will inform the choices the president ultimately makes.
Suspending habeas corpus. Donald Trump promised to be a dictator on day one, and that is what Donald Trump is trying to become with every action this administration takes. It becomes more and more clear to anyone who did not see it coming already that the purpose of this administration is to put as much power as possible in Donald Trump's hands. This is a man who was throwing himself a military parade on his birthday. Now he is considering suspending habeas corpus, and they have no reason. There is no invasion. There is no war. There is no matter of national security that rises to the occasion of Donald Trump making himself king. This is insanity. But again, it's part of the intimidation, which before we see what happened today at an ICE facility when Democrats are protesting, we need the context of why exactly Donald Trump has made this clear that more arrests are coming.
So, the president signed an executive order just this week threatening to defund sanctuary cities for their policies. Why not just arrest the leaders who are harboring and shielding illegal aliens, actually terrorists, from deportation?
Wait to see what's coming.
Tom Homan was asked whether he would consider arresting elected Democratic mayors who are pushing back against Donald Trump's illegal deportation plan. His answer, just wait and see. Just wait and see is what Tom Homan had to say. Guy who, by the way, is also still threatening to arrest and deport AOC said, just wait and see. And apparently we didn't have to wait that long, because that is exactly what Donald Trump and Tom Ochman, Stephen Miller, that the rest of the stooges and thugs in their administration are doing, because the mayor of Newark, New Jersey was arrested for protesting Donald Trump today. And we can see that in this disturbing clip right here.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
One by one. Step back.
Goddamn Gestapo, that's what you are.
One by one. Back up.
New Jersey's Gestapo, right here. Put on brown shirts, you'll look more the part.
Alcalde de Newark.
Sir, thank you.
¿Cómo tratan a un hombre afroamericano, el alcalde de Newark? Oh yeah, nice.
Oh, yeah,
stick,
you're
tough
tough.
guy, real fucking tough.
Okay, you safe now, guys? Oh, you're safe now. Newark mayor arrested at ICE detention center where he was protesting. Mayor Baraka was accompanied in a congressional delegation at the facility to conduct an oversight inspection. Alina Abba, acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, said on social media that Baraka committed trespassing and ignored warnings from Homeland Security personnel to leave Delaney Hall, an ICE detention facility run by private prison operator CEO Geo Group. In her social media post, Haber wrote of the mayor that he chose to disregard the law, adding that he'd been taken into custody. An email and phone message left with the mayor's communications office were not immediately answered Friday afternoon, but we did see this statement from a Democratic member of Congress outside the facility.
Along with 3 members of Congress. It was an act of intimidation. It was an act of intimidation not just to the mayor, not just to us, but to everyone watching. We know what ICE has been doing in our communities. We know that the president lied and this administration lies every day when they're saying they're going after criminals. It is not true. They feel no weight of the law. They feel no restraint on what they should be doing. And that was shown in broad daylight today when they not just arrested the mayor of Newark, but when they put their hands on 2 members of Congress who are standing behind me. How is this acceptable? To anyone in this country, how is this acceptable?
They are arresting Democratic mayors. They are attempting to arrest. They are trying to intimidate Democratic members of Congress. What more does anyone have to see to know that this is a fascist administration trying to scare any opposition away? And why? Because they know that they're breaking the law. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know that more protests are coming. They know that we will be speaking out. It's the reason that these arrests keep happening. First, judges now, mayors, soon Democratic members of Congress, governors. I don't know. This is the Donald Trump administration, one of chaos, corruption, and criminality, when we don't know who he's after next. And this is why, as you know, and we continue to say on this show, we have to speak out for everyone. It is what we have seen. Senator Van Hollen say over and over again, he is not defending the character of Abrago Garcia when he travels to El Salvador. He is defending the man's due process, his rights to due process, because if they can go after him, then it's citizens, then it's kids with cancer, then it's Democratic mayors. What's stopping them from going after you? What we don't know at this point, and we should be terrified. That's why we need more Democrats calling that out, like someone who we just had on this show, Congressman Dan Goldman, right here.
This amendment simply says that the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement shall not detain or deport a United States citizen. If you vote no on this, you are supporting the federal government either detaining and or deporting American citizens. I don't understand how you'll be able to look yourself in the face knowing that you voted to allow our federal government to detain and deport United States citizens simply because you do not want to vote against something that Donald Trump may support. Do you have a thought of your own? Do you have a belief of your own? Or is everything literally just whatever Donald Trump tells you it should be? you are going to vote no on this. We know you're going to vote no. And I'm interested to see if anybody asks you why you voted no on this, how you're going to spin it. You may say, oh, well, United States citizens aren't detained or deported. False. False. By ICE, that is. They have routinely been falsely detained and held, and in some cases, as we now know, deported as children suffering from stage 4 cancer. So that one's not really going to work very well. Then you may say, I mean, there are always the old reliables like, oh, you know, I haven't read the bill yet. That's a good one. But I urge any one of my Republican colleagues just to stand up and say, I voted no because Donald Trump wanted me to. Because we all know that's the reason why. You have spent 100 days handing over every single ounce of congressional authority that you control to Donald Trump's lawlessness and recklessness. You stay quiet.
Every single day we have to be fighting back. We have to be calling this out. This is deeply, deeply disturbing, and we are going to be fighting back on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. I'm going to keep you all updated on this story, so please stick around. If you haven't already, you put those notifications on because I think more will be coming out of this. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments then. Until next time, I'll see you soon.